how are you getting information out? How is social media being used?
As for me, on a personal level, because I actually care a lot about knowing about everything that's going on, I personally go to, I like to look at things from multiple perspectives. So I go CNN, BBC, the Israeli news source Haaretz, Russia Times, Al Arabiya, which really expresses the opinions of the Saudi monarchy, which I don't necessarily support, Al Jazeera, the Egyptian news outlets, which are right now mainly controlled by Mubarak's friends and men from the old regime, the deep state. Like, I listen to all the different opinions. The American news outlets, social media, Facebook. I do view things like today, and this is what hurt me the most. The reason I got here today is because today I was seeing patients. And I took 2 minutes on the computer, and I saw this video clip in Egypt where there was, and this reminded me very much of China. China in Tiananmen Square. There's a like a clip that almost every human being saw, which was a tank that was, there was the crackdown on democracy protesters, where there was a person that was standing in front of a tank, and then the Chinese tank was trying to avoid the person, not wanting to step over that person, and I remember that in China, in Tiananmen Square, and that short clip was, touted as one of the most amazing clips of perhaps the past 100 years in the human conscience, but today I saw a clip from today in which there was an Egyptian tank, equivalent scene, an Egyptian tank for which there were young men my age that were approaching the tank with their hands up high, with no arms, completely peaceful, very evident from the video, just walking towards the tank, taking steps towards the tank, and which the soldiers, the Egyptian soldiers, of course following orders from above, just shot the man down, and the man died, and he shot others, just like that, point blank, for no reason. They could have arrested them, beat them up. Heck, if you want to torture them, okay? If you were so thirsty, if you're so sadistic, okay? But why did you have to shoot them like that? Why did you have to kill them? In the Talmud, in the scripture, in the Jewish scripture, okay, and it's resonated in the Quran, repeated in the Quran. It says explicitly that he who kills one innocent person, it's as if you have killed all of humanity. And he who saves the life of one innocent person, it's as if you have saved the life of all of humanity. So these soldiers, in Egypt, basically demonstrated that they are worse. Unfortunately, the generals are worse than communist China. And that saddened me as a person of Egyptian heritage, as a free person of the world, as an American citizen, to see that happening, and for it, unfortunately, to be with weapons that we paid for, a tank that we paid for. That's not a tank made in Beijing. That's not a tank made in Russia and Moscow. That's a tank made in USA. Americans, sweated to make that tank. We exported it to them. We paid for it, and it's on that tank that an Egyptian soldier aims his weapons at the Egyptian people and shoots them without any mercy.
Do you feel it's important that images like that come out, that people inside Egypt
I feel it's so important because at this moment, the media stations, all the free voices in Egypt, the military regime cracked down on them. All the free voices in Egypt are cracked down upon. All the TV stations, the reporters, the newspapers who say anything against the official line in Egypt are arrested. They are intimidated. They're killed. The Sky News reporter was just killed, 2 days ago, I think. And then other reporters being injured and killed. Al Jazeera reporter shot in his hand. Others. This is the norm right now. So it's the free people that are posting things online that's getting out, because all the official media sources in Egypt are they are all owned by Mubarak's deep state, 90% of them, or owned by some of the oil-rich monarchies, unfortunately, that don't support a free Egypt and that support authoritarian rule, and that are afraid of democracy, unfortunately.
And do you have friends or family or anyone still in Egypt? Like, are you able to connect, talk to them, or use social media?
Yes, I have family in Egypt. I have friends in Egypt. There was somebody standing with us here, a friend here that his own brother, who's a med student like myself, who went there just to treat the injured, who got killed. He was telling me today, my brother just died, and as a med student. And this is sad, and this is slaughter. And I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And you know something? There's a... I'll just say two things. Okay, two things. Some people might have a Machiavelli type of mentality. You know, say, you know what? Who cares? 100 people died, 1,000 people died, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Let's just crush them. Any of all these opposition or people that are opposing the military rule, let's just crush them because we don't like them. You know, some people have lost their humanity and are willing to do anything right now. And I just ask them to reflect. Just have some, you know, reflection, because Morsi, okay, and again, it's not that I like him or I don't like him, but the fact is, historically speaking, history will remember him as a person who did not close down TV stations. There's no question about it. He believed in democracy and he preached it, and he did not close down TV stations. He did not kill journalists. He did not. These people were protesting for 1 year now. For 1 year, since the day he took power, people were protesting against him, trying to sabotage him. It was about sabotage, you know. And the military regime, with the deep state of Mubarak, from the first day they were trying to bring him down. He never had power. The Minister of Defense that's today killing all of his supporters was the Minister of Defense under Morsi, you know. So he never even had a Minister of Defense of his real choice, you know. And the judges that are in Egypt right now are all the corrupt judges of Mubarak's time. The police forces are the corrupt police of Mubarak's time. The military is the military of Mubarak. All these are the deep states who right now just did a very illegitimate coup against the democratic aspirations of the Egyptian people. You know, for 30 years these people were under the military dictatorship of Mubarak. You know, 50 years ago the GDP of South Korea and in Egypt were the same. Now South Korea is advanced in the sky, Egypt is in the gutters because of 30 years of military rule under Hosni Mubarak. We had 1 year of Morsi, but now we're back to military rule. We're not moving forward. We're not moving forward.
What is your hope for the future of Egypt then? How can it move forward?
Well, the most important thing for Egypt is for one, is that the Egyptians remain united. You know, and this might be very difficult in these times because I'll be honest with you, the Egyptian people are very divided. Nobody knows for sure how many people are with Morsi and the legitimate rule of his government, or with the military coup. Nobody knows. You know, you can't do the head count game. These people demonstrate. These people demonstrate. But they are clearly divided. Even in Egyptian Americans in America, they are divided. You know, I have friends that are strongly in support of the coup. I have friends that are against the coup. I have family for the coup. I have family against the coup. It's a complicated mess. Not all Egyptians have the political, and historical sense to even correctly evaluate the situation. You know, so the Egyptian people, unfortunately, a media clip, just a 5-second clip they watch can make them suddenly have sentiments to this camp, and another thing they watch 5 minutes later can make them have sentiments to another camp. It's not based on, for many people, it's not based on rationality. It's not based on good judgment. It's based on emotions of the moment, and you can't build a future based on these whims of a few seconds. You know, we need really reasonable people, rational people, logical people, to lead the country out of this. What's important is that all Egyptians come together and they stick to the rules, stick to the process. You know, Morsi, my issue with him is perhaps he could willingly give up power. Perhaps he could ascribe his authorities to somebody else. Perhaps there could be, new elections in 3 months, to which everybody agrees to. But it has to be a process. It can't be, a selected few hijack the country to a direction that, not everybody subscribed to and registered for. So far, there were like 3 or 4 elections in Egypt, all of which Morsi or his group won. Whether you like it, whether I don't like it, whether it's bitter, whether it's not. Republicans in this country, when Obama wins, they don't think, oh, how can we bring down America? How can we sabotage Obama to bring down? Yeah, they might, try to criticize him, bring him down on some issues, but they are patriotic in nature. They love America. They look at the big picture, And in Egypt, I ask the opposition to be a patriotic opposition. I ask the military to be a patriotic military to do what's best for the country. I ask the Muslim Brotherhood members to not use any violence. And so far, they haven't. Their official line is non-violence. I hope they stick to that. But I have a message. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, so there's that. Could you pass it?
Oh, yeah.